Revenge films.
My name is Maya. I've been blessed with a child with my husband, and I'm living happily. However, I'm divorced, having separated from my ex-husband Oscar 10 years ago. Oscar and I were so close that everyone envied us, and I truly thought there was no one I felt more comfortable with. The reason we got along so well was that Oscar and I were childhood friends. We'd been together since kindergarten, always getting along. We were so close that people around us would say, "Why don't you just date?" Egged on by this, we actually started dating and eventually got married. At first, we both had romantic feelings for each other, and I think we were lovey-dovey. But one day, Oscar had to go on a business trip for several months, and we ended up living apart. That's when I realized something. Now that I think about it, it's been a while since I've lived without Oscar around. Strangely enough, I wasn't lonely, and just exchanging occasional messages felt oddly comfortable. Apparently, Oscar felt the same way. The truth was, we'd been together for so long that our romantic feelings had long since faded, and we'd become family. More accurately, people around us kept calling us a childhood friend marriage and best friend couple, and we might have been bound by that image. As time went on, we stopped communicating as much, and after 3 years, we decided that if this relationship was going to continue like this, we should divorce.
Take care of yourself, Maya.
You take care too. Don't go dying in some ditch. Everyone was disappointed, but I think this choice was the right one. We had no regrets, and it was a refreshingly clean goodbye. 10 years passed, and when I was about 38, I married a man I truly felt was the one. It's not that I was unhappy with life with Oscar. Even now, memories of the two of us remain as good ones in my heart. But my days with my husband were truly happy. The following year, I gave birth to his child.
Maya, you did great!
Nice to meet you, my baby. I was anxious because it was considered a geriatric pregnancy, but a healthy baby boy was born safely. The baby grew up strong and healthy. My parents never said anything about us not having a baby after marriage, but they must have felt lonely because when the baby boy was born, they were so happy they could have jumped for joy. We live far from my parents' house, so one of the joys was receiving packages with notes like, "I found cute clothes." Then, one New Year's Day, we were planning to visit my parents when I ran into Oscar right in the middle of town. I saw that Oscar was with a woman too, so I introduced Oscar to my husband and we all greeted each other. I told my husband about Oscar, so there was nothing to hide, and at the time I just thought it was quite a coincidence. Oscar's wife was a woman named Yvonne, and I was happy that we both had remarried and were living happily. However, this Yvonne would later cause a troublesome incident. That evening, Yvonne came to my parents' house, and suddenly she said to me, "You should apologize to me." Today was the first time I'd met Yvonne, and when I asked, "What should I apologize for?" an absurd explanation came back, and I was dumbfounded. Well, to put it simply, I'm in my late 30s now and can't have children, so if you had broken up with Oscar earlier, I could have met Oscar sooner and had children. Because of me, that didn't happen, so I should apologize to her. I was confused, not understanding what I was being told. Sure, I know that age affects pregnancy chances, but there's no reason for her to criticize me about my marriage to Oscar. For Yvonne to go out of her way to come here and say this felt creepy and made me recoil. While this was happening, my mother, who'd been watching from the side, called Oscar's home, and Oscar immediately came to pick her up and bowed his head to me.
Sorry, Maya. Obviously, the infertility is our issue. My wife was in shock and confused. I'll come apologize properly another day.
Why are you bowing to that woman? Aren't you angry? The woman was furious, but Oscar knew the truth, so I thought this would settle things. However, the real nightmare came the next day. I was scared of Yvonne, and since my parents also agreed, I was thinking we should head home soon. Just then there was a loud banging on my parents' door again, and Yvonne burst in, and this time when she saw my child... there you are. I came today to have you return that child. Everyone, my parents and husband, was shocked. My husband immediately took my child to the back room, but Yvonne's eyes looked completely unhinged. When I asked why she was talking about returning my child, she said with a laugh, Because if you and Oscar had broken up earlier, I definitely could have had children. Which means that child should have been mine. She didn't seem sane at all. What are you talking about? This child is definitely mine and my husband's, and you have absolutely zero connection or claim to him. When I said that, Yvonne's face twisted into something demonic. Of course it's related. It's your fault we couldn't have children, but only you get to be happy and have a child after divorce. That's not fair. Hand over the child. She swung at me, so my father stopped her and held her in a restraint, and my mother called the police while I trembled. My father held her back so that I didn't get seriously injured, but I was hit several times, and she scratched me hard with her nails, leaving some wounds and bruises on my body. Shortly after, the police arrived and Yvonne was taken away, but... Give me back my child, you thief! She was screaming, and I was terrified. Later, Oscar came and apologized, saying he would fully pay compensation and medical expenses. Neither my husband nor I blamed Oscar at all, and I actually felt sorry for him having to deal with his wife causing one problem after another. Later, Yvonne's parents learned about the incident and came to our house bowing deeply in apology. They promised to never let their daughter near us again. We don't live in this area anyway, so once we went home, we could keep our distance, but it was truly frightening. I received treatment for the injuries from Yvonne at the hospital and then went home, but apparently those two divorced soon after. And I heard that Yvonne had developed mental health issues, so she was hospitalized in a quiet rural area for long-term treatment. But according to what I heard, Yvonne refuses to admit there's anything wrong with her, and she hysterically attacks nurses, saying, "Give me back my baby!" and tries to escape the hospital to see Oscar, so now she's completely isolated in a locked room under full supervision. I do feel sorry that she couldn't have children, but I don't think what she did is forgivable. This time, my husband protected our child and my parents helped, so there wasn't major damage, but if she kidnapped my child, I definitely couldn't have forgiven her. When I ran into Oscar in town, I was happy, thinking we'd both found happiness with other people, but it's a bit sad that things turned out this way. Still, knowing how kind he is, I'm sure he'll eventually meet someone perfect for him.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.